Hi everybody. Okay, so I'm going to do a review on the Revlon Colorstay Whipped Cream Makeup. Now, I hope this isn't overkill because I have seen so many reviews and demos popping up in my subscription box, but because so many of you requested that I do this, I'm going to still do it. And I hope that you guys find this helpful anyways, even though you might be like redundant and overkill on this foundation. But I think when a good product comes out on the market, the YouTube subscriptions are flooded with that product, and that's generally a good sign that's a good product. So I wrote down my pros and cons here so that way I don't forget, because I am quite spacey, a little bit ditzy, you know, I can admit it. Alright, so let's get started with the review. So first thing we'll start on is the packaging. I think the packaging is very nice and classic. It kind of reminds me of Chanel packaging, a really nice thick glass jar with a black top. I got the color 200 Sand Beige. It does claim to be 24 hours as it says there on the top. I am an NW20 in MAC, so for color reference. Also, I feel like if you love the regular Revlon Colorstay, the colors are pretty similar. This is what it looks like. It's quite an interesting consistency. It's quite thick, it's not going to fall out, and I really like it. Okay, so let's go into some of the pros on it. Like it says on the top, 24 hours. It is very long lasting. I did fall asleep with it on. I know, so bad to sleep in your makeup, but I did it. So I guess it worked out for this review purposes, because I woke up the next day and my face still looked flawless. I mean, absolutely flawless. Like, it didn't fade away, it didn't smudge off on my pillowcase. So it is very long lasting. Next pro to it, it is so blendable and so buildable. And I really like that, because the old Colorstay, you had to blend it in really, really fast because it dries so quickly, and then it became really hard to blend. This, you don't have to work fast because it doesn't dry as fast, because it's very buildable and very blendable. I think the first coat you apply is more of a medium finish, and then you can build it up to full coverage just by adding another coat, and it's not going to get cakey, thick, or shed away or anything like that. It's just going to blend into your skin very nice and seamlessly. I think the coverage on it is amazing. I normally just put one coat and a second coat to places where I might need it more, because I have a lot of acne scarring right along the jawline, and right underneath my cheeks I get really red, and I don't want my blush to look like a weird triangle, so I add an extra coat right here. It does cover up acne. I do have active breakout right now. It does cover that up very nicely where I don't have to put concealer on top, and it covers up my freckles here along my cheekbones and my nose with just one coat. So it's very good for those of you who want a more full coverage, more flawless face. With that, it doesn't feel heavy like the original Colorstay does. The old Colorstay I felt was really thick. I loved the coverage, I loved how it looked on me, but I could feel it on my face, and I hate when I feel makeup on my face. I don't like wearing a mask. So this just feels like normal skin. Let's see here, and it's not like the Revlon Photo Ready. It does not have the shimmers in it. I do say it's probably like a more, it's not matte, it's not dewy, it's more of like a natural satin, but without the shimmers. Okay, and the last thing positive about it is it doesn't cause breakouts. So even though I wore it overnight, you know, which really bad at least, I wore it overnight and didn't get new breakouts. It has salicylic acid in it, which is a acne fighting ingredient. So I think it's really great, because I a lot of times get hormonal breakouts, and knowing that I'm putting on a foundation that's going to help me cover it and help treat it, I really like that aspect. Okay, now into the cons. You know, not everything's perfect, so I just want to let you guys know the things I don't like about it so much. The first thing is when you're going to pick out a color. Something about the packaging in the jar, it is so hard to figure out what the color actually looks like out on the outside, because when they're all lined up together, they all look exactly the same. So you can see on the outside it looks quite light, but when you look in the inside, it's darker than when it appears on the outside. See? The next thing I don't like so much is part of the packaging flaw. It comes with like this little flimsy plastic stopper, and they made the outside packaging so nice and heavy and pretty that they just threw in this really cheap little You can hear it. See, it's like really flimsy. But I suggest keeping that in there anyway so you don't get product on the top like I already did, and then it's gross looking. So that's a fail. Another thing about the packaging, even though I think it's beautiful and looks great on the vanity, it is big and bulky, so it's not going to be good for traveling. Okay, next thing is the price of it. This is quite an expensive foundation for a drugstore brand. I find the price range to be about $10.99 to $14.99 where I live. It could be more or a little bit less depending on your region. I got mine at Target for $11.99. There are coupons, so always keep your eye out for that. Look online, because if you can get it cheaper, totally awesome, and get it. It's awesome. Okay, the next con is it has no SPF, and that might be a good thing for some of you who are with flash photography because it's not going to give you that white cast, but in the age we live in, you don't want skin cancer, and I think SPF is so important. So since it doesn't have an SPF in it and you have to add your own SPF, that's kind of a con in my aspect, in my book. Okay, and next fail is the actual amount of product in it. It looks like you'd have a lot of product in it, but that's an optical illusion. It has less than the traditional foundation. Traditional foundations are about 1 ounce, 1 fluid ounce, pretty much from high-end to low-end drugstore items. They're all 1 ounce. This is 0.8 ounce. It just looks like it's a lot more product in this big bulky jar. So that's a con. It is more expensive for less product. And then the last con to it is because it has the salicylic acid in it, I do find it to be a tad drying. I do have dry skin, but I don't find it overly drying where I can't use it. I just make sure to follow up with a good moisturizer after I take it off. So overall, I think the pros outweighs the cons. I just wanted to make you guys aware of what I didn't like so much about it, because there's always hits and misses to every product. I think it's really good coverage. I have it on now, like I said. I don't set it with a powder. I don't feel like I need to, but if you're extra oily, I would just set in those areas that you are oily. I think it gives great coverage. It looks fantastic, and I just really like the way it looks. Like, it might sound a little weird, but I think I look pretty flawless with this foundation on, and I really like that I just feel like it evens out my skin tone so well. It covers up my freckles and my acne scarring and any active breakouts I have. It's just a really good product. So yeah, I'm going to go into the demo. I just show you here in the demo clip how I apply it. I don't show the rest of my makeup, just how I apply the foundation itself. So I hope this was helpful, and stay tuned for the demo. Okay, so let's go ahead and apply it. What I like to do is I take off the little stopper and I just use my fingers to apply it onto my face, and I buff it in with a brush. I find it works well with a brush, with your fingers. I don't have a beauty blender or anything like that, but those are the two methods I've tried. I've used synthetic brushes and my fingers to blend in, and they both work really well and create a flawless canvas. Since this foundation doesn't have an SPF in it, I would suggest you put on an SPF first. I just have on some moisturizer because unfortunately Colorado is in a state of disaster, and we have so many wildfires burning, and the biggest one is 20 minutes away from me, and there's so much smoke and ash in the air that we aren't going to be able to spend any time outside today because we'll inhale that, and that will not be good. So if you have a quick moment, say a good prayer or thought for Colorado, because we are bursting up into flames. But anyway, so I'm not wearing SPF is what I'm trying to say. So I'm just going to use it on freshly cleaned, moisturized skin. I just washed my hands so I won't be contaminating this. And let's just, I'll show you the texture of it. It's really interesting. It's like, I don't know, it's so weird. It's kind of like putty, but liquidy. It's so weird. I mean, it's not going to come out when you flip it upside down. It's a really cool consistency. So I just go ahead and apply some all over my face. I know it's attractive, right? And I will say this foundation kind of surprises me because, like a BB cream, it kind of looks beigey or a little bit gray. Not beigey, a little bit gray when you first apply it, but then it like looks natural, like a natural skin tone once you blend it in. So now I look awesome. That's blended in. This is a Sedona Lace 480, and it's just a round top synthetic brush. So then I just blend it in, I first go in circular motions and then I blend it down. This foundation is very blendable and very buildable, so even if you feel like this isn't enough coverage at first, you can go ahead and add another coat, and it's not going to mess with the coverage. It's not going to get cakey. I don't really apply it underneath my eyes because it does have that salicylic acid in it. I don't want it to be drying. And since that's one of my cons of this foundation is that I feel like it's a little bit drying, that I definitely don't want to put it under my under eye area. Alright, and I just keep blending it in until it's nice and blended. And you see, it gives pretty good coverage with one coat. I can't speak. It's pretty good coverage with one coat, but I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more to the areas that I get really red underneath my cheeks, and I have a lot of acne scarring there. So I just go ahead and blend another coat on. I did have an active breakout there, and it covers it up very nicely, where I didn't even have to spend time on it. Let me just add a little bit more. It has such amazing coverage, and I love that I can add extra coats to the places I need it without it getting cakey or hard to blend like the original Colorstay. Alright, so that's it. I'm going to go ahead and apply my concealer and all that stuff. So, overall, I think it's a really great foundation. I think you guys would like it. So I hope this video was helpful, and I hope you guys have a great, fantastic day. Thanks so much for watching. Hurt you guys all. Bye, everybody.